Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to another live session. Today we are going to talk about LinkedIn, finding clients on LinkedIn, and Pradip will be joining us soon. Pradip is actually right here. Yeah, there he is. Can you send a join request, Pradip?
Hi,
There
hi.
he is. Hi, how are you?
It's great. Yeah, thank you. Thanks very much. And it's great to be here in this live feed on Instagram. And good evening to all our people who are there uh, online watching this. Thanks so much, Neelu, for having me today
Oh, it's my
in the
pleasure.
discussion. It's great to be here and talking to you on what I've done on LinkedIn. Please.
Okay.
I'll give you a bit
So,
brief. Should I start first by introducing myself?
yes, please.
Uh, I'll give you a brief background about myself. I'm a marketing consultant. I have been in uh, consulting for clients for the past 5 years. My I have been in marketing for the past 30 years. I was working for different companies in a senior leadership role, both here as well as in abroad. And since the last 5 years, I've been helping companies, especially in the small and medium business space, connect with clients, improve their customer base, improve their sales. These are the different areas. I currently work with clients across Kerala as well as in places like Bangalore.
Nice. So for those of you who don't know, Pradeep and I, we actually operate from the same co-working space. That's how we met. So he's in his cabin right there and I'm right here
Yeah, I
doing
know.
live session with each
I
other.
know on two different devices anyway. That's okay.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So we'll get into the questions. It's already
Yeah,
7 p.m.
yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So you've been on LinkedIn for a while, right? And I remember you telling me that you usually find your clients there. So is there anything that we have to do to optimize LinkedIn, like use LinkedIn a certain way to find clients? Any suggestions from your
Well,
side?
I've been on LinkedIn for many years. I mean, as a person who was employed and who was working for different companies, I didn't pay much attention to LinkedIn. It was just another social media. But once I started working on my own and consulting for different clients, I looked at LinkedIn a bit more closely. I studied how it works. I read a lot about what works and what does not work. And frankly, I've come to my own conclusions. Like I told you
Mm.
that day, LinkedIn has helped me connect with clients. There are a number of clients that I work with even today who are, who have connected with me on LinkedIn because of my profile. Uh, I'm sure most people would have gone and seen a lot of things about what works in LinkedIn, what does not work on LinkedIn. What I can just share today in this talk is what worked for me and what I think others should do. I mean, this is totally my my what the findings that have come from my own experiments with LinkedIn and what has worked for me.
No, we want to know what has worked for you only, so you can
Well,
continue.
it's different things. I mean, you have to begin with different things. See, in LinkedIn, the one thing that I found is you have to realize whom you want to connect with. I mean, if your client base, if you want to connect with more clients, if you want to create your personal brand, these are all different strategies. If you want to do, first decide upon what you want LinkedIn to what you want to achieve
Do
through
for
LinkedIn.
you.
Yeah, if you want to connect with more clients, you have to work with that in mind, which means that you have to work with, working on your profile initially, getting that in place, and then with whatever content that you post on time to time. So, if you are trying to position yourself as a personal brand, improve your personal brand, position yourself as an expert in your field, then your content would be different. These are things that you have to consider when you're, using like LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn on both areas. So I do post content which will help me show as myself as an expert, but I also do a lot of work which will be useful for possible clients.
So, let's say if I am looking for clients, what kind of content do you think I should post?
If it is your clients, you would be knowing what your clients, what are the problems they
Yes,
face.
yeah.
I mean, depend you are, I think you're looking at more, you would be working with clients more on, the small, medium businesses, small
Mm.
businesses who are looking to, connect with
Grow.
customers through
Yeah.
through social media. You would
Mm,
know what they are looking for
mm,
and what the problems they face.
mm,
You have to create content which will help them to solve those problems. It's
mm,
content that they will find useful, content that they would like to look forward to.
mm,
So when they open their LinkedIn, they will look for your feed and they will interact with it. Either they will like it or they'll comment on it.
mm,
They'll do both. That is
mm,
how you create yourself. Get to know, position yourself with your clients. The other way that you would do is I have, there is something called Sales Navigator on LinkedIn. I don't know how many small businesses are there on LinkedIn on Sales Navigator, but you can connect with, you can take a membership of Sales Navigator for a limited period of time. Uh, Use it to connect with bigger, smaller clients in your, the space that you want to, small businesses or medium businesses. Identify the kind of products that they sell, identify the size their companies are, and connect with them. And then send out, request to connect with them on LinkedIn itself.
mm. So,
But
um,
yeah, please.
so you're saying like we have to do two things. One is three things. Find them, post content that speaks to their pain points, and three, connect with them. So build your network as well.
Correct. Now, building a network, first I would suggest is that when you go to Sales Navigator, identify these people who are there, who are possible clients. I would suggest that you go to their profiles first and see what type of posts they have, put earlier, what type of content they have put earlier. You would then
Mm.
be able to send them a message which is connected to one of those contents. You would
Okay.
say, for example, I saw your content on such and such a topic, and I think it's got a worthwhile, and I have some thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Instead of just going out and pitching
Yeah.
yourself, I
Yeah.
I personally don't think anybody should go out with a sales pitch in the first,
Initially. Yeah.
direct message
Yeah.
in LinkedIn. It turns to put off people. So it is better you put in a first message saying that, I saw your post and I have a thought, and just try and create a rapport with the other person before, let's say, one or two messages down the line, they then say, I am now into this, and would you be free to meet sometime, or can I give you a call sometime, and then try to take that forward, instead of going out with a
Yeah.
sales pitch in the beginning.
So you do a little bit of research, you engage with your content,
Correct.
write a DM or two, build a connection and a rapport, and then you talk about your service or how you can help
Correct.
them.
I think that gets better results. I mean, you would have much less rejections that way.
So this is true even in real life, right? Like when we meet someone for the first time, and the first thing we do is try and sell to them, they are going to be very put off, especially when they're not in the headspace to buy something from us.
Correct.
Like
Correct.
if someone
Absolutely,
walks
it's the same.
into my shop and asks me something and I sell them something, it's a different thing. Whereas if someone is just walking by and I just go to them and say,
Yeah.
hey, buy this, we get two very different responses.
Yeah, absolutely. You're correct. Absolutely correct. I get the connection requests sometimes, and when the moment I have said, okay, the next thing I find a DM saying that, why we are into this space and would you like to connect? And I don't
Yeah,
reply to those because I
yeah.
know the only reason that person connected with me is to
Is
sell.
for a sale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's nothing more than that in this connection.
So basically, what you don't want others to do to you, you shouldn't do to others either.
Absolutely. I think
As simple
that's a
as
very
that.
good that's a very good measure.
Yeah. Are you in any LinkedIn groups?
I
Are they good for
am.
finding?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, LinkedIn groups are good. I think on a personal branding site to show yourself as an expert to your own group of own network of, let's say if I'm a marketing consultant, if I have to connect with more marketing consultants, it helps. It creates
Mm.
that position of helps me build my personal brand. But
Mm.
from a business generation perspective, it probably does not do that much benefit. But it
Mm.
does do a lot of, it does, LinkedIn. You see, there are many ways to see it. If I do have a lot of interactions with my messages on groups, LinkedIn will actually I mean,
Mm.
will consider that and push up my profile a bit when it shows me as a marketing consultant.
It's like planting seeds. You never know which one is
Yeah,
going
yeah,
to grow and where.
that's a good analogy. Yes.
Um, okay, so uh, I had a couple of questions, but you've sort of already answered them, like specific etiquettes for engaging with potential clients. You've already said you first build a rapport and then
Correct.
you ask or you pitch your product or service. Okay, so my crowd here on Instagram are generally micro business owners, home-based business owners, and small. When I say small, it's like really, really small, like one person or two-person businesses. And they tend to use Instagram a lot more than LinkedIn. I think there is a fear of LinkedIn in a lot of people's minds because it looks and sounds very professional. It's like all the top tier people are on there, and people are saying, is there any point in us, going to LinkedIn? What is your take on it?
See, LinkedIn finally is about people. I mean, it's whoever is there on LinkedIn is finally a person. I mean, they have the same requirements. They're probably not on the platform, or they're not browsing through the platform to
Mm,
see the same content that they are doing on Instagram. But
mm,
their requirements, their needs are the same. I mean, if I was to, identify a person who would probably use my products, I would like to connect with them. At some point of time, that requirement, I may not, that person may not be on LinkedIn, looking through LinkedIn with the idea that they want to buy something for their home, for example. But
mm.
at some point they need that. And if
Yeah,
you do build up that network, and if you do build up that rapport, you would be able to sell at some point. I
yeah,
mean, this again comes to the fact that if you keep trying to aggressively sell on LinkedIn, it may not work.
yeah.
It may not work the same way as it does on Instagram. I
Mm,
use Instagram for my clients. I do ads on Instagram. It works,
mm.
but you probably will not work with LinkedIn the same way. I mean, you
Same
have
here.
to build that network. You have to work on
Mm.
it. But yeah, I'm sure there are some of your clients, even if they're micro businesses, they must be connecting with working for other businesses. I mean, I would be micro business myself.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
true. I see a lot more artists now compared to, let's say, a few years back. Artists generally sees Instagram as a space for building their business, like finding clients and also building their authority as an artist. But now I've noticed that more and more of them are popping up on LinkedIn and are posting content. And we never know, maybe a hotel or
Correct.
an interior decorating firm, someone will notice your
Absolutely.
uh, work of
Even
art and
even a lot of companies buy for their corporate
yeah,
offices. They buy art, they
yeah,
invest in art. So yeah, I mean, you always they always have an option for looking for these clients there.
yeah. I have noticed that in terms of algorithm and organic reach, LinkedIn is way better. Like the growth is much faster, I personally feel, compared to Instagram. Have you felt the same?
I I can't say anything about Instagram. I'm not too active on Instagram, so I won't compare with Instagram. But I personally haven't tried to play with the algorithm on LinkedIn much. I post as and when I think I have something of interest which may interest my
Something of
network.
value.
Yeah, something of value which may interest. I know you will find articles which say that you should post at least X number of times a month, or post,
Comment
yeah,
these many
post,
times.
put polls,
Yeah.
put videos, photos, whatever. There'll be a lot of other opinions. I haven't followed any of those, but I just try and post content which may be of value to my network, and it doesn't happen often, right? Because in my field, it's not always that you can come up with something that is original and different. I try to do it, but yeah, it is
Uh,
it is not easy.
Let's see, what specifically stands out for me about your content is the case studies that you do or the newspaper clippings that you share, and you talk about how a certain ad was done and what stands out for, about that ad for you. Um, Compared to other people on LinkedIn who are constantly, maybe it's because I engaged with a couple of them that LinkedIn is showing me more and more of that. So I probably need to change
Yeah.
the way I interact. But I feel people who have something unique to say or unique to add is definitely going to stand out in the mind of the readers. Um, Instead of the generic advice. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you.
yeah,
That's my take anyway.
yeah,
So what I do, like you said, when I post something about an ad, if I see, for example, I open the newspaper and I see an ad, and I have an
mm,
opinion about it.
mm,
From a
mm,
marketing consultant perspective, I have an opinion about what that ad does for that brand, or what it does as a marketing strategy. I mean,
mm,
does it really solve the need? So I'll then try to create a post later in the day,
mm,
that actually addresses this.
mm,
I may not, in fact, may not even do it that day. I mean, I would like to. Ideally, you should do it the same day because it's an ad which came in the newspaper. But what happens sometimes is I read, for example, a post or I read a comment, and I have my own opinion about it. And I
mm,
have already formulated a thought about it. I
mm,
want to put a post, but I don't find, amongst everything else, I don't find the time to actually sit down and write a post on it. I
mm,
mean, if I'm writing something, I have to write it properly in, my it has to be correct with my perspective. It has to at least give some value. So I'll spend some
mm,
time on it. Now, I may not do it immediately. I may do it after a few days.
mm.
What happens is I may forget the topic totally. I
Mm,
mean, in all this, being busy, I might actually forget. I had a thought that now I can't remember it. So I put down a note in my notes on my phone, and I said, okay, at least I'll remember it this way.
yeah,
That 2 days down the line, when I have some time, I say, I have an idea for a
yeah.
note for a LinkedIn post which is lying there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how way I work. I mean, it just works different for different people.
There is also this option of like you can have a LinkedIn account with your personal details and stuff, and you can also have a LinkedIn page, just like Facebook account and Facebook page. Do you think a person should create both, or just the account is enough?
See, for me, I'll tell you from my side. See, it depends upon different people. For me, my business as a consultant rests totally on my own ability.
Mm,
I am the face, and though I have a brand, I have a LinkedIn page also,
mm,
but for my company. But the business that I drive is totally because of me. Maybe tomorrow, as my company grows bigger and I have more employees, if that happens, then I would probably think of looking at that as a separate property on my LinkedIn, on LinkedIn. But the purpose for me, for my own page, is to create that personal brand. If I was looking
mm,
at my company's page, I would recommend that you put in things that how your company is going to solve the problems for your clients. So
mm,
it's different for micro businesses. It probably may not be necessary at this stage. I
mm.
think a lot of micro businesses, the owner themselves or the person who's
Yeah,
driving it would be
it's
the face of the brand.
usually,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So for personal brands or for business owners who use themselves. You're saying it's enough to have an account, and when later on you have employees or when the organization grows,
Correct.
then a page is recommended. Okay, makes sense. Is there any particular time that you have noticed, like um, the apt time to post content, morning, afternoon,
I,
evening, weekends,
I've
weekdays?
read a lot about this, and yeah, there are. See, I don't post on weekends as a rule because I don't think people
You
tend to look at
want to stay
LinkedIn.
away?
You
Yeah,
know, people. I don't think people have got a lot of other things to look at in the
yeah,
weekend.
yeah,
They're probably busy with their lives otherwise.
yeah.
But LinkedIn is mostly, in my opinion, something that people look at when they're at work, when they've got some time
Mm,
between work.
yeah.
When they're not so busy, they will look at it. Maybe around lunchtime. That's the time when they
Mm,
see it.
mm,
I have posted. I've tried to keep a schedule of trying to post around 11 o'clock on a working day or something. But I
mm,
have seen that it doesn't matter.
mm,
Finally, I have seen posts that I've done. I've seen something and suddenly decided I must react on this immediately, and I put a post in the evening, and it has got much better interaction than anything else.
yeah.
So it's
It's about
difficult
the
to say.
content.
Yeah, yeah, it's about the content. Yeah, it's difficult to put a formula to it about time, but I avoid doing weekends. I wouldn't recommend doing weekends. I don't know. It may work. It may not work. I really
Mm,
can't can't say whether it would, but I personally try to avoid weekends for posting.
mm, mm. Okay. Um, so earlier you were mentioning how you get connection request and then you immediately get the sales pitch in your DM. Um, I have recently started getting more active on LinkedIn, and initially I would just accept whatever came my way. But lately I have noticed that um, the connection request that I accept also affects what I see on my feed because it's those people's content that I'm seeing on my feed. Do you like have a criteria or something when it comes to accepting connections?
Yeah, I think this is a good question actually. I mean, I think a lot of people think that the more connections you have,
The better it
it looks,
looks.
yeah, the better it is. It looks nice, and people think that you have a big network.
Yeah,
See, what you said is exactly what the problem is. You connect with a lot of people who
mm,
are not connected with what you want to say about. Say,
yeah,
if I connect with a lot of people in HR, I'm just
mm,
saying. I'm not saying that I
mm,
do, but let's
mm,
say there are a lot of people who are in HR or finance in my network.
mm,
And I'm putting marketing work. They're not going to react to it the same way as somebody who's in marketing or
yeah,
who understands business is going to
mm,
react. I mean, who
mm,
understands what that value of the post is. So
mm.
the eventually you will find that your posts are getting lesser and lesser engagements
Engagement.
because the people who are seeing it are not people who are actually
Who
going
want
to
to
find
see it?
value in your post.
Mm,
Yeah, they're not going to find value in your
yeah,
post. So try and connect with those people whose posts you would like to see, and who you would like to, whom you would like you to show your post to.
yeah. Goes both ways.
Yeah, it goes
Like you
both
would
ways.
like to want to consume their content and you want them to consume your
And it
content
could
as
be
well.
someone else also whose content you like. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, there are two ways to see how LinkedIn interactions work. I can keep posting, creating new posts, but it also helps when I comment on others' posts.
Yeah.
So if I see a post which is thought provoking from somebody who's an expert on marketing, and I can put a comment which gets a adds a perspective to
Mm.
it or adds something of value to that post, then I have created something of value. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily need to give a post. So I may not
Yeah.
post for a long time, but I
But you
try
will
and comment on others.
comment on other people's posts.
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
add some
Even
value.
that is something that I noticed on LinkedIn, which doesn't happen on Instagram. Because on LinkedIn feed, when I log in, I see that you have commented on something or somebody else I follow has commented something, and then I see that post as well from a completely new person. So I've been discovering new people that
Yeah.
way. That doesn't happen on Instagram, and I really like that feature on LinkedIn
Yeah, I
because
think
it's a great way to both find people as well as people to find you.
Absolutely. I think because LinkedIn is a professional network, it
Yeah,
helps you connect with people who have got similar interests or,
yeah.
who
Similar
are
business,
experts in a similar field.
yeah,
Yeah.
professional interest. Yeah. And I also feel that as a business owner, I feel less lonely over there than I do
Yeah.
on Instagram because there seems to be a lot of people who are doing very similar things. Whereas on Instagram, I feel people are here more for entertainment. So if I don't post a content that is entertaining, it doesn't like, for example, a reel where I'm specifically talking about marketing gets much lower reach compared to a reel where I'm doing some random entertaining stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas
Agree.
on LinkedIn, I don't see that difference.
No, absolutely. Instagram is basically for entertainment,
Yeah,
but the beauty of Instagram is because the you bring down your barriers when you interact. Like you
yeah,
said earlier, when people think about LinkedIn, they think about it. Oh, it's got
very
you have to be at a
food
senior
boat.
level to be in LinkedIn. You
Yeah,
can't just go into LinkedIn.
yeah,
I mean, they
yeah,
give it. They think it's a very serious platform, but
yeah,
Instagram, it's not because it's not serious. Nobody has any problem with joining. So
yeah,
you get more people to see your
yeah.
content.
Yeah, there's less inhibition about putting yourself out there.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
yes. Yeah, inhibition is correct. Yeah.
yeah. Are there any key metrics that you feel we should keep an eye on when it comes to the growth of our LinkedIn pages or accounts?
I haven't personally looked at any metrics. I used to at some point of time see how many people have liked my messages, my posts, and see all that.
Mm,
But what I like to see nowadays more is the comments that come in from people on my
mm,
posts. That is something which is more value to me because that means that people have actually read the post and bothered to go through its contents and then comment on it.
leave a comment.
Rather than
Yeah,
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 because people have a tendency of hitting the like button when they see somebody who's on the network has put a post. It may not
mm,
be they may not actually have gone through my post and read it.
yeah, yeah. Comments are sort of a validation. Like
Absolutely,
someone
yeah.
has,
It means the
yeah,
person has read it.
yeah,
It means the person has taken the trouble of reading a post, which is
yeah.
which is which is which is something that you can appreciate.
Is there anything else? They are starting to switch off the lights here. Is there
Yeah.
anything else you would like to add before we wrap up?
See, it's a long game. I mean, you can't expect results in LinkedIn over a matter of days or even months. I think you need to be consistent. You need to be the most important thing is you need to be authentic. You cannot try and be somebody else on LinkedIn. You have to put forward whatever your thoughts are. You have to let people know what you think about certain thing professionally, what you think about your area. This is this is this is how LinkedIn works. I mean, I it may not see. I'm the reason I am so confident about LinkedIn is because it has brought me business. So
Mm.
so I don't. I'm not very active, like I said, on other social media,
Mm.
but LinkedIn I spend time on. I work on LinkedIn, and
And it's definitely
I think
worth the effort, you believe.
yes, it has. It has. Well, it does done benefit for me. So I wouldn't mind putting more time, investing time if I would on my LinkedIn. That's why when I need to do a post, I spend time. I just don't come up with something on the go.
All right. Thank you so much, Pradeep. It was lovely talking to you. And
Thank-
we postponed the live session once, so it's good that we got it done. We can move
Yeah, I
on
know.
from this.
Well, anyway, thank you so much, Nilüfer, for
Yeah.
having me. It has been a pleasure talking, and I hope I've been able to add some value to whatever
Oh,
our
you
listeners are
have,
looking
yes.
to. And thank you once again, and thank you to all our
Thank you too.
our viewers. Yes, thanks. Bye bye.
Take
Have a
care.
good day.
Bye.